Wait. We are live. I'm gonna watch mine.
Hey, Jesse, we talked enough this week, but I don't think I saw you face to face yet.
I know, dude. I'm so happy to see your beautiful mug. So let's close some whales, man. Let's do this.
Mixing up a look today with the backwards cap.
Oh, yeah, we
Yeah,
planned
man,
it that
making it
way.
happen. Got the art game going too, Raymundo. Look at that, dude. Just
That's one of my
fire
favorite
in the
films ever.
background.
Had to get it.
Ah, that's good.
All right. How do I see who's in? Let me see. We're like, I don't know, like 3 to 5 minutes, and then we'll jump straight into it.
Sounds like a plan.
Got some fire to show. Absolute fire. I don't know. Keep myself on my phone actually.
Going above and beyond a Saturday
Yeah,
morning
fucking,
live for you, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So funny. I was like Hetty, and she's like, what? And I was like, I gotta go live. She's like,
That's too funny.
All right. What up, Joseph? We just built out Joseph's offer this week. Man, it's fire.
Let's go.
Joseph's the man.
Love it.
All right. Let's get kicking. Let's get straight into it. Yash and let's make sure Yash and everybody tags everybody in. We really don't want people to miss out on this one. Other than that, let's kick off. So let me share my screen here.
Wonderful.
So this is going to shock some people, but we actually use our own stuff to run our own agency.
What?
What?
Yeah, crazy. What? No way. So coaching is like not your only revenue stream? Yes. So, you know, the stuff like that. So literally we've used the MBP method and these negotiation tactics and these strategies to close, right now we're working with a publicly traded company. We have, we've got about 30 clients we're putting into our agency. Like this is, I know there's a lot of stuff out there that's like, hey, look, get to your first 10K a month and stuff. This stuff will get you to 100K within like weeks. We've seen it happen many times before. So let's jump into the frameworks, the structure, and how to go about it.
You might just want to let them know we've had a little deviation because we might still dive into that, but the topic planned was going to be sales and closing whales of clients.
Yeah.
And
that's it.
So that's what yours relates to as well?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I just wanted to be clear on that.
Yeah.
Awesome.
We're good, man. All right. So I want to get into some of the nitty gritty. First of all, yeah, we're going to be talking about just how to harpoon whale clients is the general kind of thing of it today. So first of all, let me show you the flow. And this is what we do to be able to close these clients. So a huge thing that people have with, closing big clients, and we discussed this last session, was you never go after the big client directly. You always find a mutually beneficial partnership and you reverse engineer it. If you haven't watched that video yet, I'm not going to cover it today because it's going to take too long, but comment MVP below so we can get that in your hands. We didn't release it. We didn't release a recording, but we can send it to you directly.
Right.
There's too much good stuff in there to just throw out for our competitors to use. So this is the flow, and this is how we close whale clients. So let's talk about a whale getting offer for a minute, and then we'll talk about how we actually close it out. So this is, let me just go here. This is a whale getting offer. All right. So this is what we're working in with the Unreachable program at the moment. Basically you want to have it like this. So one, you want to have it performance-based with huge ability to scale. So, charging based on retainer. I was actually speaking with the SEO agency this week, and if you're watching, I hope you guys are thinking about, they were charging based on retainer, and they're hoping to get to 10K retainers. And we're like, what if you could actually get to 100K from a single client? And they're like, no way, how is that possible? So we did the numbers and we looked at how they're working with clients. And we saw that if they pay, charge based on performance and had percentage of revenue for some of their clients and then charge like per lead, they would be able to get that one client to 50 to 100K. So it needs to be performance-based with huge ability to scale. If you're trying to, if you're going out there and you want to work with major brands, like you want to work with publicly traded companies, you want to work with like pink sheet companies, things like that, companies that are in the hundreds of millions, you need to have some kind of performance-based offering. All right. Even if you have, a setup fee and things like that, there has to be some type of performance-driven offering. Otherwise, they're not going to think you have skin in the game, and it's not going to be mutually beneficial for them, especially if you're doing the MBP strategy. The next thing is it needs to be low risk with high reward. This is a huge one. I see a lot of people coming out, they have like a high ticket service offering for their agency and they want to work with major brands and charge like 100K. And there's a lot of risk. It might not be necessarily financial risk. It could just be risk of it takes too much time. A lot of agencies, they don't want to have to do a whole rebrand. Like I think a huge thing I see is people, in their cold email and their outbound strategy, they send emails to big companies and, they just pick apart their website. Like you need to change this, change this, change this, change this, change this. And they think it is really insightful because they're talking about these changes and, they think that the CEO is going to be like, oh, wow, I didn't realize my website was so crap. But in reality, they just see that as potential, they just see that as well, that's going to take too long. That's, we don't need to do that. So you need to position it where it's extremely low risk. You can get started the very next day and there is extremely high reward. Okay. So we're going to show you what that means and how to illustrate that with calculations. Then what it needs to be is fast to see results. All right. So we've tested this a bunch of different verticals and you need to do what we call needle movers. All right. So say for an example, in our agency at the moment, we have some big clients we're bringing on. Some clients you guys would actually know about and read their books, but essentially, when they come on, what we're going to do is, I think a lot of agencies let's redo all the creative, let's film everything out and create everything new, redo the website. That's going to take a few weeks to do that. So I want to show you guys how to identify easy wins inside of campaigns. This is mainly for e-commerce and lead gen, so that you can get results straight away. All right. So let's open up. Do we have any questions so far? Because I don't want people to be overwhelmed. Have a look here.
I think you're probably good so far. If anything, people are going to want examples, but you're going to get to that.
Sweet. Okay. So that's the winning offer. So let's talk about examples for a minute. So let's talk about
the first question people are going to have is how do I get out of a retainer base model and get into a performance one, and what does that look like?
So the biggest thing, first of all, is there's a few things you need. Let me pull over to here. So let's talk about, first of all, how to actually fulfill for some of these bigger deals so that you have the confidence to know, and then we can reverse engineer how you're going to pitch it. So here's what not to do. All right. Let's say you land a big client or you're trying to land a big client and then you post in Facebook ad buyers or some of the other communities and, you're basically hey, I've got a client, unlimited potential, $1,000 budget, need 1 million leads. You know what I mean? So here's the thing, right? The thing about white label is in order to be able to make their margins so they can charge low and undercut the market, they have to pretty much just hire. I mean, we teach everybody to use VAs, but essentially what they'll do is they'll have 200 clients across the set few VAs and then have one template that they use across all their clients. So it's not gonna you're just gonna be one of the 200 clients, and to meet their margins, it's gonna be a very kind of horrendous quality.
Super cookie cutter.
Yeah, and then outsourcing to someone good, to a good agency, is going to destroy your margins, right? So if you want to actually go out and do this, you need to build some kind of in-house fulfillment, but it doesn't have to be as complex as you think. All right, so really these are the 3 things that you need in any vertical to be able to, and we're talking, you know, to push to be a performance-based agency, these are the 3 things you need. And I'll go a little bit more into depth of these, but I want to talk about the actual deal. If you want to learn how we actually fulfill for clients and how we arm you with, you know, fulfillment processes, teach you how to train your teams and stuff, just comment unreachable below, because that's what we cover in there. We literally take you step by step. We arm you with data, and we help you, you know, to become a powerhouse. But these are the 3 things you need to be able to have a fulfillment process. You don't need to have a whole in-house agency. What up, Douglas? Join in the chat. You don't need to have a whole performance-based agency. You just need 1, a license to access unlimited data. 2, low-cost media buyers who can do the grunt work. My media buying friends are going to skin me alive for this, but you don't need a very expensive media buyer starting out. Craig, I'm sorry for watching. Like you do for the high-end strategy. You know, when you're spending like millions of dollars, you will, but the strategies we're going to show you, you don't need anything complex. Okay. You don't need to spend all your margins on a media buyer. Then you just need copywriting frameworks to teach virtual assistants. That's literally available in the units. I'll show you guys how to do that with AI. Like, if you guys don't know already, we just had a huge announcement for Copy Geeks on the front stage of Traffic and Conversions Conference. That's the framework we use. So like you have it for free inside of the group. I don't know why you're not looking at it if you are asking and you haven't looked at it. It's crazy. All right, so let's get into, I'm not going to get into the data, right? I think that's too into the weeds. But if you guys want to get into the weeds, we can. Comment unreachable below and we can get into the weeds. We can show you, 1, how to arm yourself with data that will literally give you a license to kill the competition. Literally, it will make your agency unstoppable. If you're an e-commerce agency or a lead gen agency and you're wanting to get your lead costs low, use your own data. Like I'm just going to show a few examples just real quick, but let's say for an example, so this is the data company we use Intent. You can see here. So you got 50,000 average order value, and you can see here about 4 million of the pipeline by using their own data. You can see here, let me go to the next one. This is crazy. All right. Look how much that lead dropped. $300, $26 per lead by using their own data. $1.20 down to 60 cents per lead by using your own data. $45 to $13 per lead by using your own data. So the biggest thing there is you want to be able to use your own data. Okay. So if you want to use your own data and things like that, comment unreachable below so we can hook you up and take you in the weeds. Anyways, let's go back to the flow. So you've got an irresistible offer, right? You've got your performance-based offer. And, you know, now we do what we call the MBP knowledge gap open email. This is more about the sales process, but that's the outreach process. But like I said, that's stuff we can go into the weeds on calls as well. That is in the units, but if you need that, comment unreachable so we can actually get those resources to you. Pretty much anything you need in terms of this B2B process that we haven't covered today, comment unreachable so we can get you those resources. All right, so let's talk about the triage call. So you're on the call with your first prospect, right? Let's say it's an e-commerce company for now, or we're talking about maybe a lead gen company. And you're looking to see like, all right, what are we going to talk about here? So the biggest thing within the triage call, and I think Jesse and Ray will agree with this, is you don't need to sell on this call. It's really just collecting data. That's it. So what we encourage our guys to do, is Seth on here? Because Seth actually should just close a major solar company doing this, but if he's not, that's all right. But essentially you want to do it like this. So let's say, for an example, let's do lead generation, right? So either you're going to be selling to an MBP, which is basically you're selling to somebody that's selling to their clients, or you're doing a direct business. So let's say you're doing a direct business. Basically what you've got is you want to find out a few things. You want to find out their average cost per lead, their close rate, their deal value, and then you want to be able to understand a few numbers. So first of all, let's say for an example, their cost per lead is about 150 bucks. Let's say their close rate is about 10%. Average order value about 6K. Let's say we're doing something in solar, and I mean, solar, that's very expensive for solar, but let's say it's like high end. Or some other niche, it's, you know, $150 per lead. There's a list of time, but essentially here you plug in these numbers and you'll be able to see okay, so their CPA is $1,500. This means they have to spend $1,500 to acquire a client. All right. So in our triage calls, all we're doing is collecting data. We're plugging in these numbers, and then we're saying, all right, cool. We're going to look for easy wins, and then we're going to present that to you on the next call. That's very important. You want to have specific next actions, and you want to say, okay, on this next call, we're going to talk about the easy wins. People love easy wins. And when you're talking to big businesses, you don't say, oh, we're going to change this. We're going to do a whole overhaul of this. We're going to change everything. No. It's not going to work. It's not going to impress them. You got to say, we're just going to do one tiny little change, and it's going to just change this, and it's going to be super easy. All right. So this is how you do it. So if you're armed with the data and you know everything that's going on, you look at what you can change. So with our clients, for an example, we know that as a baseline, we can reduce the cost per lead just by switching out the data by about 40%, 30 to 40%, sometimes 50. So let's put that as just like $100. We know the close rate because we're doing, we know the close rate we can increase to about 15%, even 20%, to see how we actually, double close rate for some companies. That's where we got to go into the weeds and show you some of the data and stuff like that. It's about resolving the identities of people on the website. Let's keep this at 6,000. All right, so let's have a look at how we're changing this now. Okay, so first of all, if we can get their lead cost down to $100, and then their close rate we can double to 20%, we can add an extra 160 deals per month, and they're spending the exact same amount on ad spend. All right, this means that we can reduce their CPA by $1,000, and we can add an extra $960,000 of revenue to them. Right? This is how you sell with logic. So the one thing they're going to ask you is, how do you affect each metric? Like, this is, we wouldn't explain it like magic, like, oh, we'll increase your close rate, we'll, lower the cost per lead. You need to explain how to do each one. And we have an explanation here. Like, you can see, this is how we would break down each one. But what's really cool about this is, let's say you go into the ad account for this. We have ways you can actually just go into ad accounts of clients, and you can just make some easy changes, which don't take long at all. It takes maybe a week to implement them, and then you'll be able to see a drop in cost per acquisition. All right. So let's say, for an example, they're good with this. You're not going to go in and build new creative. You're not going to go in and do all this new stuff. All you're going to do is focus on these metrics here, and it's going to massively increase the results. Then once you've adjusted their CPA, then what you're going to do, and what we instruct our guys to do, is you're going to go, okay, cool. Well, look, I'll maintain your CPA here, and I'll just charge you X amount per lead. And then you build your own assets, and now you have something you can run and control, and then you can start billing the client. And that's how you move from performance-based, from retainer to performance-based. You get control of the ad account, you're running the numbers here, you find out what their CPA is, you reverse engineer the metrics to find a desirable cost per lead, and then you sell them on it. And 9 out of 10 times they'll love you for this, because it doesn't make sense unless you're making them money.
Well, and to kind of add to top of that as well, Adam, the thing is, like you said, is this isn't an emotional type of decision. This isn't something that you have to think about. Like you said, you don't even have to sell them, quote unquote, on it. You're literally showing them frameworks, facts and figures, things that we've done to reverse engineer hundreds of times, proof in the pudding, showing them the actual data where they are currently versus where they can be from what we can provide, and show them the outcome by spending the exact same amount of money. You can 3x your income. What would that do for your business? At that point, it's nothing but logic. It's absolute numbers. And if someone were to tell you no, they're just an absolute idiot business owner who doesn't understand. They want more profitability. So again, there's no emotion. There's no, no, it's facts and figures as to where it is broken down. And again, if we want to get in the weeds on that, that's something we break down with you. And again, with their comment, again, the weeds, and we'll definitely jump
the weeds.
And in addition to that, right, like Adam said, this is not rehauling their whole system, their marketing. This is with subtle tweaks that are making a difference of $960K a year in the bottom line, and shown with facts and figures. As Jesse always likes to say, numbers don't lie, right? You can't change it. It's not objective. I mean, it's not subjective. It's objective, right?
Yeah. I mean, we literally did this with an e-com business that we partnered with, we literally tweaked one thing, one small thing, like we're talking about here, not even the entire metrics, one small thing. They went from doing about 5,000 a day up to 25,000 a day in the first 7 days. I mean, it literally can be that simple. That little tweak can make you that much more money by doing the exact same amount of ad spend. Who in the right mind would tell you no to making more money for spending the exact same amount, right? Just small tweaks. Again, it's not reframing everything, building on the entire process, changing what you've done from day one, just small tweaks here. That's all off of logic.
It's needle movers. And the crazy thing is that one little tweak cost us, I think, $500. So yeah. So is there anyone here that, so this is how to do lead gen. All right. Let's talk about ecom for a minute. Is anybody here in ecom? Comment below if you're in ecom. Otherwise, we're just going to just assume some people are that are watching this later. But let's talk about ecom for a minute. Let's say you go to a major ecom brand that's spending over $100,000. Oh, that's over $100,000 a month in revenue. You know, that's not hard to find. And, you know, you sit down with them and you're like, hey, look, I can potentially reduce these metrics down and reduce the CPA. And they're like, all right, cool. So here's what you do. So let's say an e-commerce company, you sit down with them and you ask a few questions. You find out, hey, what's your average order value? And let's say they say $40. And you find out, okay, well, if that's $40, the big thing of e-commerce companies is always gear things towards profit. So many like companies come in, they're like, oh yeah, we increased the ROAS like 2x. And that doesn't mean anything to an e-commerce company when their COGS are like so high, they're actually still losing money. You know what I mean? That's why they're burning through agencies. So when you talk about profit to an e-commerce agency, e-commerce company, that's how you get their attention. I can increase profits. All right. So let's say they're $40 average order value, profit per sale. Let's put it at $30. It'd probably be less. Let's say the cost per click is around $2. Let's put it at $1. See how that changes things. Okay. And then let's say the click-through rate is about 2%. Let's say the conversion rate is actually quite high and it's about 4%. All right. So what are we looking at here? So we've got basically profit after COGS. We've got about 75,000. Profit after ad spend, 12,000. And then we've got, you know, main profit here about $12,000. So $100,000 revenue. Then they spend money on ads. They make $12,000. That sucks. That's so bad. This is why like e-commerce owners can sometimes be the most angry clients because they're just losing money. All right. So you collect these stats, and this is unfortunately what it is for most people, right? And it's going to be extremely hard to be able to get this to like, you know, 4x and stuff without some of these changes. These are the easy changes we'll show you how to make. So first of all, what you want to do is straight away, you know that if you're using your own data, you can drop the cost. All right. So let's say we can get the cost per click down to about 70 cents because we're using our own data. All right. We're not using Facebook interests. We're using our own data based on in-market people that we know already want the product. So boom, we see just a small drop in cost per click. Let's say click-through rate. We'll keep that at about 2%, right? You know, because increased click-through rate, you just need to have better creatives. We're not going to change the creatives at this point. And then let's say conversion rate. What we're going to do is we're going to actually put the conversion rate, and we can actually double the conversion rate by putting a little line of code on their site, which allows them to resolve 100% of the identities of people that land on their site. So let's say, for an example, 100 people land on their website. At the moment, they can only identify 4% of those people. We'll give you this little line of code. You'll be able to identify 100% and then reconvert them back in, and you'll be able to boost it to about 8%. All right. So let's have a look how this increases the stats, right? All we did was upload our own data. We haven't changed creative, and all we did was resolve all the identities. So look at how this increases it, right? So we're looking at about $37,000 profit now. Okay. Now, that's not even that much of an increase. Like we only did a few little adjustments there. We could still increase the click-through rate. We could still, you know, even more increase the conversion rate. But these are just easy needle movers. All right. So let's say we go to this company and we say, hey, look, we're going to increase your profit. So, you know, we've done this and we do this metric. We say, we're going to increase your profit. These are the stats we're going to increase. We're going to just drop the click-through rate by using our own data. We're going to just increase the conversion rate. This is what we expect. don't say this is what we guarantee, because you never know, like with ecom, they could lose their ad account, things like that. And you say, we're going to take, you could say we're going to take 25% of profit that we bring in, which still leaves you more profitable than what you were before. And then you make $12,000 out of that deal. You charge a retainer, you make $15,000. They're still making $37,000 extra that they weren't making before. Super, super easy. All right. So this is how you can take an e-commerce client and be like, all right, cool. This is how we're going to go performance-based. Now, what's cool is you grow with them. So the next month is they're like, all right, cool. Let's increase ad spend. Let's go to 250,000 just at those stats without changing anything. Let's say, worst case, you literally just don't even change the creatives or anything like that. Now you're looking at, you're making about $35,000 and they're making $97,000 profit. All right. So when you charge based on profit, that's how you can land big e-commerce companies. All right. So after that, and you get the logic, it's just purely down to negotiations of how they're going to pay you out. Now, if you do this with your own data, I don't know how you'd be able to drop that like that. That's why, I don't really know any other needle movers you could do other than using your own data and resolving their identities. Anything else has to be a total overhaul, new ads, new creative, new testing and stuff like that. And it just takes a long time. But this is how you'd be able to do this very fast and then be able to close these guys.
Good stuff.
Right. Any questions? Let me have a look here. All right, should we open up for some questions?
If you're seeing any there, I'm only looking at the Zoom chat. I don't have the Facebook up on my screen.
We've got a few people in the Zoom. Let me see here. Got 9 chronic marketing. Can't see. Here we go. Participants. All right, cool. All right, any questions about that, guys? Otherwise, we're gonna move on swiftly. Look at the comments.
As you know, ecom is not my jam, and I followed all of that. So
no, you're good. So this is lead gen or ecom. I mean,
no, right. I love when the tables turn, man, because usually it's the other way around. I'm not following, now I'm following. This is good.
Don't get used to it, brother.
All right, so yeah, I mean, it's simple math at this point. So really, just to recap, the triage call is where you collect the data. Then what you do is you look at the easy wins. Okay, so the biggest things you want to do is look at the needle movers. Don't look at doing an overhaul of their entire site. Don't look at doing things that takes a lot of time. Look at easy wins and needle movers. If you want to know what that looks like I said, comment in the weeds, comment unreachable below, so we can get Danny or Matt to hook you up with the full presentation of this. This is what we send to unreachable clients, and it will show you how you can actually get these results. So really, in order to go after a big whale, a lot of it is going to be in the offer. So there's a bit of reverse engineering to begin with. After that, it just comes down to following the closing frameworks that we teach our clients. And I wish it was more complex than that, but that's literally how you close whales.
No, you don't.
I mean, I kind of do, because then I wouldn't have just given everything away then, but.
You might wish it was more complex. The viewers probably don't. I'm always for the people,
Yeah, I do. All right. Come on, guys. You got any questions?
You must have just explained it that thoroughly.
All right. I'm going to assume everybody knows what that is. So if no one has any questions there, we're going to wrap up. But I think there's going to be a lot of questions that people are going to have watching this. These lives, we don't keep them up for long, purely because, well, think of it like this. When I was a uni student and I knew that my lecturers were just going to record things and put it into the modules anyway, I would never rock up. So,
totally.
We want to keep this exclusive. This is like valuable stuff that you guys can take and literally reverse engineer success in your business. So we don't keep these up for long. You have to be able to, you got to literally message one of the guys and get access to it, just because one, we want to be able to get participation and show you how to do it. And two, we don't want to, I think there's competitors every day that trying to join our group and get their hands on this stuff. So.
And 3, it gets a little confusing. If we're leaving all these replays up, people are like, where do I start? What do I focus on? And it just gets too complicated. So we leave them up for a couple of days. Everyone knows the topic and what we covered. And if it's helpful, get it. But Adam's right. We try to put stuff that you can implement quickly. I mean, think about it. Just doing subtle tweaks for your client as opposed to overall rehauls and then having that quick of a result for them and being paid on a performance-based model. I mean, Adam just broke down how to do all 3 of those key factors on how to get out of retainer and into that model and deliver results fast, which is really the key to making this work.
Mm-hmm.
And for anyone that saw the kind of post where we talked about what we were going to go through and we didn't cover all those points, just stay tuned for Monday's live. Some of that is going to get pushed into Monday because we wanted Adam to go through this stuff while he was available today. And myself and Jesse are going to run through some more of those closing large clients on Monday.
Yeah. All right. Sweet, guys. All right. Any questions? Comment there. We'll try to get back to you as soon as possible. I'm not sure how long we'll leave this recording up. We'll take it down soon. But comment while you can, grab it while you have it, take notes while you can, and apply this. Like, seriously, I think a lot of people ask us, like, why do you teach this stuff if you just can do it yourselves? And the answer is we do it ourselves already. But the reason why we teach people how to do it and the reason why we even offer some kind of training is literally because we have a whole acquisition side of our business. And our goal is to build companies so that we can eventually do equity partnerships later on. That's our end game here. That's why we even run teaching and teach people how to do this stuff. Otherwise, we would just run our own agency and just do it completely ourselves. But we're trying to reverse engineer perfect scenarios for both you and I. This isn't a foreign concept. We're not the first ones to do this. If you guys know Alex from acquisition.com, those guys do a similar thing. It's just smart business. It's just educating you, people to be able to build ideal businesses so that you can work with them later on. That's all it is. So it's in our best interest that you guys take this and actually succeed with it and do something with it.
Again, comes down to implementation, folks.
Yeah. Anyway, let's leave it there. The amount of stuff we have to drive is just ridiculous, but we're going to leave it there for now. Comment if you want it. We'll send you some resources. If no one else has any questions, let's keep it short and sweet. Let's sign off.
Enjoy your weekend, folks.
See you guys.
Later, team.